Hello everyone, and welcome back to a new episode of SHENZHEN I. Something kind of interesting happened when I booted up the game, which was the sandwich maker problem was no longer marked as solved. It is solved now. I'm going to go revisit it just briefly to show you guys. My score appears to be even worse than it was, and it had completely forgotten my solution. I had to go, like, re-enter this from the video. And if you are eagle-eyed and have quite a quick memory, you may notice that the instructions are not all the same as they were. It turns out that this update, like, I don't know, there was an update to the game or something, it had, it changed the specs for the sandwich maker. Rather than receiving preferences one at a time, and then finally a special message saying, yes, make the sandwich, you just get a single message that means make a sandwich and here's how to make it, which really simplifies a lot of things. By the way, I think I accidentally clicked on like profiling there, which I don't really care about. So it makes the whole problem a little bit simpler, I think, because this guy doesn't really have to do as much tracking of whatever's going on. But I think most of it is basically the same. Like, all this stuff doesn't need to change much. I ended up changing it because, like, when they changed what these numbers were, it made, like, it was a little hard to keep track of things. Anyway, it doesn't super matter. The problem is resolved now, but our score is even worse comparatively because the problem was made easier and I didn't adjust the wiring or anything to accommodate that. Okay, so moving on to a real new puzzle. What do we have? We have a Pocket I Ching Oracle. Have you noticed the I Ching, sometimes known in the West as the Book of Changes, experiencing a resurgence in popularity lately? For the record, no, I have not. For the benefit of those out of the loop, let me briefly explain. A hexagram is a set of 6 lines, where each line is either solid or broken, with a total of 64 possible combinations. There's obviously much more to it, but I don't want to go into it too deeply. I've been studying the system for a while now, but I wish there was a quicker way to generate hexagrams. I thought perhaps this ancient divination method, it's not conjugated very well, ancient divination method be brought into the modern era somehow as a pocket device. So 6 coin flips? Not at all. There's a much more detailed process through which one arrives at the reading involving yarrow stocks. I stopped by to try to describe it to you, but you weren't at your desk. Suffice it to say that we will need to generate the readings in the proper way if it is to be taken seriously as a divination tool. I found a part that works for this. It implements the physical yarrow stock method in miniature. Strange. So we can just create the display for the result. Obviously, interpretation is up to the user. Okay, so what's the deal? We have a display over here, and we have a mystical yarrow stock over there with like a little, what is it, the Taoist yin-yang thing? Anyway. Button and Oracle are simple inputs connected to a MEMS-based Oracle engine. Button and... I guess this is Button and this is Oracle, probably? Displays 0 through 5. Okay. Are simple outputs. So, alright, we're gonna have a lot of I.O. going on. 8 I.O. 8 simple I.O. So, I mean, that's a lot. Connected to display segments on a custom LCD. Okay. Okay. I briefly thought that we were having to implement like a 7-segment LCD or LED thing, where like we would get a number and have to turn on the 7 things, like, you know, on an alarm clock, right? That's like, oh, if it's 5, you gotta turn on this bar, this bar, this bar, this bar, and this bar. But of course, that's not what we're doing. We're just giving them 6 bits out, which is like, I don't know, who knows. When the button is pushed, the Oracle will generate 6 values corresponding to segments displayed 0 through 5. When the final number is generated, the display should be updated to match the 6 numbers. Okay, it's only 1 page. So the button happens, and the Oracle gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers. Yeah, so we have starting from the bottom, on, off, on. Yeah, okay. Fine. Interesting. So, in principle, this is enough, right? In terms of like the actual the amount of I/O required, right? We can basically do this, wire it up like so, and then have these guys wired up here. Oh, actually, that's a little awkward, isn't it? Well, let's just. I mean, so I'm not sure this is actually going to be a solution because we may need more code in here to understand all what's going on all in here. But right, so here's the idea. In theory, this is enough wiring and enough registers, because all we kind of need to do is like for 6 cycles in a row, read a thing, and then like somehow update the accumulators on, or the muxes here to output the right numbers. Now that's a little harder, right? We don't have a division, do we? I'm pretty sure we don't. Let's search for test equal. Okay, alright, so it might have been convenient to be able to say read this oracle input and divide by 100 to get either 1 or 0, for example, right? That might have been convenient, but I don't see exactly how I would really have used it anyway. Okay, so this is like theoretically okay, but I don't think we can do all this with 9 instructions. I can't anyway, maybe someone else could. One obvious, maybe improvement is the wrong word, but adjustment would be to add a second one of these guys, reading the same inputs, but writing to a different muxer, so give each of them 1 muxer, basically. And just have the first one be responsible for reading the first 3 inputs, and the second one be responsible for reading the next 3 inputs. Oh, right, I forgot, though. There's this little weird thing, which is that we aren't supposed to output any of the values, not supposed to display anything until we get all of the inputs. So we can't just each cycle add something to what we're displaying here. We have to sort of save up the number in the accumulator, wait for the right time, and then send the whole thing over. That actually makes it almost easier, doesn't it? We just like, each cycle, we're gonna sleep for a while. We're gonna sleep, well, we'll check if the button is on, and if so, then we'll check the first oracle. And if it's true, we'll add, well, okay. Why am I saying it out loud? Let's write it down and see how much code it ends up taking. So we'll test equal, where is our button here? It is P1 100. If so, we need to be a little bit careful here with how we do our tests, although I think we can. Because I want to avoid having to use a jump instruction for the case where the button wasn't pushed. So I want to make sure that all execution happens in... all interesting stuff happens in plus mode here, but I think we can. So the idea is... let's see. So if so... actually, how am I going to do that? Okay, well, I don't know. Let's see. So first thing to do is now... we start by moving 0 to ACK. Right, seems pretty reasonable. So we're going to get a 0... we're going to get the one controlling 0 first. That's here. And so presuming that we're sending that to this guy, well, yeah, which we are, that corresponds to a 1. Okay. So... yeah, we can't really get into... Alright. I think we have to say if not, then jump to done. Gosh, we're not going to have enough space to do even one of these muxers in a single one of these guys, it seems like. Which tells me I'm doing it wrong. I mean, okay, so we can maybe do everything with 2 of these, but that feels pretty bad to me. It feels like I must be missing something. Is this any good? I don't think so. I don't think having any RAM would help. We can easily store the number in a single accumulator, and it's easier to do so. So let's do that. But okay, let's see how much space it takes to wire it up, to write it out with one of these guys. Now we are testing equal... we can remove this plus, I suppose. Test equal P0 of 100, and if so... move 1 to ACK. Now we sleep 1. Test equal P0 of 100. If so, add 10. Sleep 1. So we're gonna need to grab a bigger chip here. Which means the wiring is all messed up. Although not too badly. I'll have to rewire it when I add the second chip as well. But I think it should be possible. Ooh. I can scoot it over further this way, which might help. Right, we have a lot of lateral space to work with. It should help with our cramped vertical space. All right, so but P1 jump to done. We're putting our done down here. Which is just gonna be sleep 1. Okay, we're adding 10, sleeping 1, we test equal P0 100, if so we add 100, and then we sleep for 4, not 1, because we need to wait through the next 3 oracle inputs while the second chip is processing them. And then we're going to wake up at the same time as he does, as he finishes, I should say, and send those over. Move ACK to X3. So, this uses up every single one of our instructions. And I'm pretty worried about that, even if it's correct, because I think I'm going to need one more instruction to do the other half here, right? Because this chip is going to need to, like, be waiting. He's going to need to, he's going to wake up, right? And instead of jumping to done, he's gonna, like, sleep for 3, and then when he wakes up, Maybe it's okay, actually. Because he'll have a sleep 3 there, but he won't need a sleep 4 here. So maybe it comes out the same. Alright. So let's see if we get the first 3 inputs correct with this approach. So the button is on, and so is the first input. So we move to 0 to ACK. Well, you know what? We can make this a little bit less wasteful and just say like that. Move either a 0 or a 1 rather than writing a 0 and then replacing it. So is P1 100? Yes. Therefore, move 1 to ACK. Go to sleep. Is it still on? Yep. Therefore, add 10 to ACK. Go back to sleep. Is it still on? No. Therefore, don't add 100. Sleep for 4. While all those other inputs are coming in. We just got the last input. Ah, it should be 3, not 4. Because we don't need to wait for... Okay. Okay, we're done sleeping, and now it's time to move ACK into X3, which is an 11, which is the bottom 2. Great! That's a pretty nice Oracle master there. Okay, so when the button is pressed, we're not required to change what happens to us yet, but then we get... Okay, so we've got the bottom 3 done. And I think we can use just one more of these guys and be okay. Now we'll have to figure out the wiring. We're a bit cramped for vertical space. But the good news is, I think we can just share all of the... Well, we can remove this wire, which should help a fair bit, I would think. Right, we don't need that. And I don't know exactly how this part is all gonna... Oops. Is all gonna work, so let's just throw it away for the moment. Let's move down to the bottom here, I guess. I don't know. Move this down as well, because why not? And put in our second chip here? I guess? Alright, so thing 1, put in a bridge here so we can get this input to where it needs to go. Thing 2, oh, let's wire up. So where's this guy writing? Oh, this is his P1, it doesn't go there. X3 goes there. It seems more aesthetically pleasing to go like this. I don't know whether I have that kind of luxury, actually, yet. Let's do this and we can move it if we want. P1, meanwhile, has to get to here, right? Which is not that hard. We'll just wire it up like that. And then we won't need any bridges, because this guy can write like that. Okay, great. That wasn't just so bad. It seemed more complicated because I did all the wiring to everything for a single chip. And doubling that would have been harder, but once I simplified, it wasn't too hard to double. Okay, so we're grabbing all this stuff. And, you know, it seems like it would be more aesthetically pleasing if we moved this up a bit. That'd be kind of hard, though. I'm not going to do that. So the only change here, I think, is to here. Oops. We're going to remove this sleep 3 and put it here. And that's like the only change, right? Yeah, that seems pretty legit. So this guy... Wait, what? Did that happen? Why did he have a sleep 3 at the bottom still? Did I do a dumb? I did a dumb. I changed this one instead of the other one. I meant to change this guy. I'm not sure exactly how I made that mistake, but it seems to have happened. Okay, that's 3 inputs done, and so this guy's now sleeping and this guy's awake. Moving 1 to act, yeah, okay, great. And there it goes. We got the stuff all done. Great, not bad at all. We're oracles. No, it's all broken! Did it look broken? It looked broken to me. Maybe I looked away from the screen and I thought I saw a bunch of red, but I must have just been imagining it, because it's still going. Sorry about the false alarm there, guys. Holy smokes, that's fast. Lines of code. The most of, like, anybody. Well, no. There are people using more, and we are at the mode, right? The more people use this amount of code than anyone else, but clearly there were some savings we could have had in a lot of directions. Overall, though, a pretty simple problem, I think. Splendid. How wonderful that such a device was created right here in China where it all began. I'll probably even use this oracle myself as Xiaomei and I approach our wedding day. David is more Chinese than even a Chinese person. Shenzhen days. The electronics wet market is as sexy as it sounds. Goodness. One thing I always tell people who come through Shenzhen for various reasons is to check out the electronics parts market in the Huaqiang area. It's insane and super interesting even if you aren't here for electronics at all. Imagine your traditional Chinese wet market. I'm not sure what that is. Bustling with activity, hundreds of stalls bursting with everything you can imagine, except everything being exchanged as electronics parts. Substitute the smell of fresh solder for frying oil. Think of digital trash littering the streets instead of food scraps. It's not just a few parts, okay, but what is this? I don't care about this. Okay. You guys can read the rest of this if you want. I think it's boring. And like kind of a pain to read aloud. If you're not pausing the video, or if you have paused and you are now done pausing, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.